Good morning, boys and girls. We are continuing our lesson with multiplication and division. So we are continuing what we learned from last week about using arrays and strip diagrams to help us understand multiplication and division problems. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So our target for today is I can represent and solve two-step multiplication and division problems within 100 using arrays, strip diagrams, and equations. All right, boys and girls, really important to understand that it is a two-step. So we're not just doing one steps, we're doing two steps with these problems that we're going to be working with for today. So make sure that you are following along, and if you need to pause the video at certain parts, please make sure you do so. All right, so for number one, it says create an array. Okay, so Sophie went to the store 6 times. She bought 4 apples each time she went. Okay, I'm going to make an array. So she went 6 times. Okay, so create an array. So we'll go, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do 6 columns. And then it says she bought 4 apples each time that she went. Okay, so we're going to go, because that was 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Boys and girls, it's really important that you include the first one that you already did. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and so making sure there's 4 in each column. Okay, because it told us that we needed to create an array, and this is our array. We have 6 and 4. And so we have this to plug in, so we have 6 times 4. So, boys and girls, in order to solve this, we would either count how many circles are all total, or you might already know the answer because you've been practicing your multiplication fact cards every night. So, with that being said, if we were to add all this up, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So, 24 is our answer to this array model. Let's move on. Number 2, because as you notice, this was a multiplication problem. Now going to 2, we have a division problem. So it says, divide this array to represent 24 divided by 8. Okay, so we're just going to rewrite what it says down here. Okay, because total, we have 24. And then divided by 8, looks like 8 columns, so let me check. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 columns. So with that being said, we are missing how many rows there are for this division problem. So boys and girls, how many rows? 1, 2, 3. Because, boys and girls, remember that division is multiplication backwards. When you already know the total to a multiplication problem, it's actually division. And then you needed to find the missing part to that multiplication equation. So 8 times 3 equals 24. So we had a total of 24, and it was broken into 8 columns. Therefore, we are then left with 3 rows. So with division, when we're using visuals, it's really important to really step aside and to really pay attention to make sure all the numbers are adding up correctly or multiplying correctly, okay? All right, so that is the answer to number 2. Now moving on to number 3. Janie went to the store 7 times, times, that's a clue word, last month. She bought 12 lollipops each time she went to the store. Janie gave all her lollipops equally to her friends. So gave all her lollipops equally to 4 friends. Oh, okay, so 4 is a number. Just because 4 is written in word form, it doesn't mean that we don't circle it. Yes, we do. Okay? All right, now, which of these models show the number of lollipops each friend received? Interesting. So I'm going to underline, because I'm always using cubes when I am working with math problems to help me stop, slow down, and find out what I need to solve. So as of right now, I can already tell that we're going to have to do 2 steps to this problem. Okay, so let's look at this first sentence again. Janie went to the store 7 times. Okay, so we know 7 times. Okay. She bought 12 lollipops each time. Okay, so that would be 7 times 12. Okay, she went to the store. Janie gave all her lollipops equally to 4 friends. Okay, so I know that I need to solve this first, because then for the second part, it says giving all her friends lollipops equally to 4 friends. Now, we need to find the total to this answer in order to equally divide this answer by 4 friends. So we need to make sure that we do the math right now. All right, just so I can make sure that I have enough room and you can see it, we're going to rearrange this, because remember from last week, we learned how to multiply by 2-digit to 1-digit algorithm. All right, so boys and girls, always start in the ones place value. What's 7 times 2? 14. The 4 comes down here and you bring the 1 up here. Then we multiply 7 times 1, which is 7. But wait, there's a little extra number up here. We always add that to the answer of our multiplication problem. So if we have 7, then plus 1, that gives us 8. All right, 12 times 7 is 84. So Janie has 84 lollipops total. Okay, so then it says Janie gave all her lollipops equally to 4 friends. So we're going to start with our total, so 84. Then we're going to divide by how many friends? 4. Okay, so we want to look for one of these problems to fit this picture. So it looks like A has 2 parts, B has 2 parts, and then C has 2 parts. Why don't we go ahead and check the math? So let's look at A. Well, we have 7 times 12 equals 84. Okay, very good. So that part is correct. But let's look at the second part. 84 take away 4. That does not make sense because we know that we're dividing. We're not taking away. So choice A would not make sense. Let's look at choice B. 7 plus 12. No. We can already see that's not going to make any sense because it even tells you in the problem that we're timesing. So B would not be our answer. But let's always double check to make sure that this is our correct answer. We have 7 times 12, 84. Yep, just like this one. And then 84 divided by 4 equals 21. Okay, well, this answer choice makes the most sense because it matches to what we were working on over here. So C is correct. Wow, all right. So, boys and girls, we just solved a 2-step multiplication and division problem. We did both. Great job, everyone. Now, we're going to continue practicing. Now, for this next part of the video, you can have this printed out and you work along with me, or you can continue watching, okay? So, there's a little bit more problems here, so let's make sure that we're getting the work done, okay? This part up here, you are doing on your own. in Schoology. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold this part right here. Okay. Make sure you guys can see it okay. All right. Here we go. Always using cubes when solving these problems. Beth went to a playground to gather rocks. Here is a picture of the rocks she gathered. She can place 5 rocks in each box. Each box, okay. If Beth continued to gather rocks, how many rocks would she need to gather to fill a total of 7 boxes? Ooh, interesting. Okay, so this is the box. So this represents 1 box, and in 1 box, there are 5 rocks. Okay, so if we want to fill 7 boxes, we need to do what? Are we going to multiply these numbers, or are we going to divide these numbers? What do you think? Yes, we are going to multiply because we need to find the total. We don't know the total yet, boys and girls. Remember, if you already know the total, that means you need to divide. But if you don't know the total, that means you need to multiply. Okay, so our multiplication problem is going to be 7 times 5. Boys and girls, I hope that you have memorized this, or you can use your fingers. So you can always go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So how many rocks would she need to gather to fill a total of 7 boxes? She's going to need 35 rocks. And we checked our math because that is how we multiply. Okay. All right, last question before you go off on your own into Schoology. Amy has 4 bags with 20 pieces of gum in each bag. She takes all the gum out of the bags and puts an equal amount of gum into 5 jars. Which of the following can be used to represent the number of pieces of gum in each jar? Okay. Boys and girls, a lot of information here, right? Yeah, it's a lot. So we're going to break it down 1 sentence at a time. So let's look at the first sentence. Amy has 4 bags with 20 pieces of gum in each bag. Okay, so that basically tells me that we're going to be, do we know the total of how many gum? No, so we would have to multiply those numbers. So we're going to do 4. Here, let me write it a different way so it makes sense. Oh, hang on, boys and girls.
Sorry for the interruption. Would Francis Lopez please come to the office? Thank you, Francis.
Okay, let's continue on, boys and girls. All right, so I'm going to write, so my first step would be 20 multiplied by 4. Okay, that was our first sentence. Let's go ahead and solve that. All right, always start in the ones place. 4 times 0 equals what? Remember, every time that you multiply by a 0, your answer will be 0. So, 0. So we have nothing to carry over, so that makes it nice. So what's 4 times 2? 8. So, there's a total of 80 pieces of gum. Okay, so let's read the second part of the sentence. She takes all the gum out of the bags and puts an equal amount of gum into 5 jars. Okay, so what that tells us, we have our total, and she wants to put them into 5 jars. So, step 2. That means we need to do 80 divided by 5. Which of the following can be used to represent the number of pieces of gum in each of the jars? Notice, boys and girls, it's not telling us to find the final answer. It's just telling us to make sure that we are doing the correct steps that lead to the correct answer. Because now we need to look at choices A, B, and C to see whether or not which one matches with what we've already worked with. So let's go ahead and figure this out. So we have 5 times 20 equals 100. Well, our first sentence said 4 times 20, so that would not make any sense. So, A, crossing that out. B, all right, let's look over here. It says 4 times 20 is 80. All right, very good. But then 80 pieces of gum in each jar. But it only did the first step. So that can't be the right answer. But let's make sure that that C is the correct answer. Okay. So we have 4 times 20 equals 80. We have 20 written 4 times. Gets us the total, which is 80. Okay. And then we have 80 divided by 5. Well, that was part here, so we had our total 80, and it was divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, because then 16 would be our final answer. Let's go ahead and double check that by multiplying 16 and 5. So I'm going to do 16 here, 5 underneath it. Really important that you line up those numbers correctly. All right, so what's 6 times 5? 30, so 0 goes here, 30 up here. Now, 5 times 1. 5, yes, plus 3. So 5 plus 3 is 80. C is the correct answer. So C is a perfect visual to represent what we solved up here. Great job, boys and girls. Okay, now remember, if you are still confused about what you have just learned, you can always go back and rewatch this video again. And also don't forget that Mrs. Strasbaugh is available from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. to help you with these kind of problems, okay? So now you're going to go into Schoology and you are going to work on the guided and independent portion of today's lesson. It's been wonderful teaching you today, and I will see you next time. Bye!